Hello, viewers, and welcome again to our first class this year Develop Client Side Web Applications. And this is our first session. The objectives for today is the scope of client side web development. We're going to look at key terminologies that are used in HTML, that are used in actually client side web applications. And also going to look at the structure of an HTML file. So before we look at what exactly is HTML, what is client side and all that, I know now as you're viewing this particular video, you're using a browser and actually your machine is now on the client side bit of it. So when we look at the client side bit of it, this is actually what the user is viewing. So the end product, the video, the images, and listening to the voice, you're actually on the client side bit of it. So let us look at the difference between client side and server side. So the first aspect of it is on the client side, it runs on the computer or browser, not what you're using. On the server side, there's a remote server placed somewhere. That's a powerful computer that is able to provide all the other computers with information. Examples of the languages used here, the technology we have HTML, CSS, JavaScript, mainly for interactivity. On the server side, now this is now the backend, the logic. We have Python, PHP. We're going to look at this when you turn the other class of server side web applications. So when you look at the control side of it, the user sees and interacts with it. On the server side, it's actually behind the scenes. You can't see the database, but things are working out. When you look at the speed, it's fast compared to the server side bit of it because there's a bit of processing and it also requires internet. Unfortunately, security wise, not secured. On the server side, it's more secure. Yeah, because the code is hidden and that is hidden from the user. The last aspect of it is use case. It keeps on changing colors, animations, and input validation depending on what the user is putting. On the server side, there's logging in and saving data and processing of forms. So let's stick to our client side of it. What is HTML? In a simple language, HTML can be defined as hypertext markup language. That's a standard markup language that is used to design and structure of a web page. HTML is actually a combination of hypertext and markup language. The hypertext defines the internal links between web pages. Markup language defines the layout, presentation of text, and media. We are diving deep into this, the terminologies which are used. And actually, these are now let's look at what actually makes up HTML. We cannot mention HTML without mentioning these three things: tags, attributes, and elements. What's a tag? An HTML tag is normally written between the angle brackets, the left and the right, and it acts as a container for different types of content. Each tag has its own specific meaning, and the same applies to the content within it. You're going to look at this more. What about attributes? Attributes, it just like the name suggests, it provides extra information about a particular element. Attributes are used in HTML document and they're applied within the start of a tag of a particular element. It contains two fields, name and values. Actually, yeah, this is going to form major part in our second session. An element An element in HTML document can be understood as an individual component of an HTML file. In simple words, The elements are everything within the tags, including tags, attributes, and contents. Okay, so let us now look at some of the elements. One of them doesn't actually find it in all the HTML documents. Doc type. It defines the document type as HTML. This element must be written before any HTML document. The second one is the HTML tag. Okay, when I mention the HTML tag, notice the angle brackets. When you open a tag, don't forget to close it. That's a big mistake most of our beginners normally do. You open a tag and you forget to close it. So how do we close it? We close it using the tag. Look at the opening tag and the ending tag as a slash. So the HTML tag is a parent tag for all HTML elements. Now this is where, okay, you can't create an HTML document without this particular tag. Everything related to create an HTML must be written inside that tag. CSS, JavaScript, jQuery are also supposed to be in this particular tag. Let's look at the second element, head. The head tag is a container tag for all the elements that are not directly displayed on the web page, but required for a page functionalities. It contains the meta tags, which are used for search engine optimization purposes. We have the title tag, script tag, etc. So now they might not be making sense, but later on, as we start writing our simple codes, it's going to make sense. Then next we have the title tag. It's used to define the title of a web page that you can see in the browser, bookmark list, and search engine results. This tag is very important for search engine optimization purposes because it helps the search engine to understand the contents of the web page. The body tag. This tag is a container for all the elements which represents the main content of a web page that displays on the browser. Okay, then we have the heading tag. And one thing you have to note is that the heading tag, they have different levels. The highest and the biggest is the heading 1 tag. It's one of the most, yeah, it's important. And you'll realize that when you from one tag to another, the size keeps on changing up to the last one. Then the last tag for today is the paragraph tag. It's symbolized by the angle bracket, and then we have P. This paragraph tag defines a paragraph, just like I said. Anything written between the paragraph tags displays a paragraph on the page. When you use multiple paragraph tags, it shows that you have different paragraphs. Okay, let's have our first simple page. I want the machine you're using, you open Notepad++ or VS Code. If you don't have these, your machine can't miss out a Notepad. Yeah, Notepad will work out. And you have to save it as maybe, beg your pardon. Give it a name index.html. Do not forget the .html because now that is what is going to help us open it in a browser. Then let's type the following code as it is. You can see we are starting with the doc type code. Then you go to the HTML, and when you open it, don't forget to close it. So just copy it the way it is. After you've copied the code, save it, close it. Okay, save it where you're able to access it. Then close it. Then open it again now using a browser. It depends on whichever browser you're using. We have Chrome, Microsoft Edge, we have others using Mozilla. Opera Mini. So it's up to you and whichever browser you're using. So when you open it in a browser, this is the output that you're going to get. Are you seeing the output I have? It's Hello World. Okay. Before we go to the next slide, I want you to, can you see where we have Hello World? Between heading one tag, I want you to write your own message there. Just between the heading one tag, the opening tag, and the closing tag. Write any information that you can think of in whichever language. After you've written it, save it and then open it. Then you view what the output is. It shouldn't bring any errors or, okay, fail to display. Definitely, this one is not going to show us where the error is. But if at all there's a problem, it's not going to display the output as expected. So we have it. Should display the message that you've entered between the heading tags. Okay. A question to tease you. What website do you use daily? And how do you think it might have been built? I know most of us are always in YouTube, Facebook, definitely, X. Which other site do you visit frequently? Ah, you know it. It depends with what you always read. Personally, I can't miss to open my mail and I'll see what's happening in Facebook, what's trending on X. Yeah. So what do you think they might have used to build it up? You can see how complex it is. Yeah, that's where we will be heading to by the end of this particular unit. So let's have a recap. What have we had today? We've defined HTML. We've looked at the basic structure of HTML. We've looked at the elements of HTML and we've designed our first page. So for now, let's meet in the next lesson, whereby we are going to look at the HTML attributes. Asanteni sana and bye.